Hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Mastery Podcast. I'm David, and today we're going to discover something fun and very useful. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what your current English level is, from A1 beginner all the way to C2 expert, just by listening. You don't need a test, a teacher, or a score. You only need your ears, focus, and curiosity. You'll hear 6 short stories, one for each level. Each story becomes a little more advanced, with longer sentences, new grammar, and more natural vocabulary. Your job is simple. Listen carefully and notice when it starts to feel difficult. That's where your level is. If one story feels easy and the next one feels harder, perfect. That's how you grow. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin this journey from beginner to expert English. A1, beginner level. This is the beginner level called A1. Here, English is simple and clear. The sentences are short. The words are very common. If you understand this story easily, you are at least at the A1 level. Story A1, beginner.
My name is Sarah. I'm 25 years old and I live with my family in a small town. We have a friendly dog named Buddy. He's brown, playful, and loves to run in the garden. Every morning, he waits by the door for me to wake up. I live in a small house. There are 3 rooms, a living room, a kitchen, and a bedroom. Our home is clean and quiet. The windows are big, so every morning, sunlight comes inside. I love that feeling. It makes me happy. Every day, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I make my bed, wash my face, and eat breakfast with my mom. I drink a cup of tea and eat 2 slices of bread with jam. After breakfast, I brush my teeth, get dressed, and leave for work. I work in a small bookshop near my home. It takes only 10 minutes to walk there. At the shop, I help customers find books. I clean the shelves, organize the tables, and sometimes wrap gifts for people. My boss is kind and my coworkers are friendly. I like my job because it's calm and easy. At 12 o'clock, I take my lunch break. Sometimes I eat rice, sometimes noodles, sometimes just a sandwich. I drink coffee and talk with my friend Lisa. We laugh about funny customers and share stories from our day. After work, I walk home again. The sun is warm and I listen to music on my phone. When I arrive home, Buddy jumps and barks because he's happy to see me. I take him to the park near our house. He runs, plays with other dogs, and chases his ball. I sit on a bench and watch the trees move in the wind. Sometimes children laugh and play nearby. The park feels peaceful. At 6 o'clock, I go back home. I cook dinner with my mom, rice, vegetables, or soup. We eat together and talk about our day. After dinner, I wash the dishes and clean the kitchen. Then I watch TV for a while or read a small English book before bed. At 10 o'clock, I go to sleep. Buddy sleeps next to my bed. Before I close my eyes, I think about my day. I feel tired, but also grateful. My life is simple, but I'm happy. Every day feels safe and full of love.
If you understood this story easily, congratulations. That means your English is already A1 or higher. You can understand short, clear sentences about daily life, home, and work. In the next story, English will become a little richer. The sentences will connect more naturally and new words will appear. If you can follow that one too, you'll move up to the A2 elementary level. So stay with me. The next story begins right after this short pause. A2, elementary level. Welcome back. Now we move to A2, the elementary level. Here, English becomes a little more detailed and natural. Sentences are longer, ideas are connected, and the story shows small routines and personal details. If you can follow this story easily, your English is A2 or higher. Story A2. Elementary.
My name is Tom, and I live in a small apartment close to the city center. It's not very big, but it's comfortable and perfect for one person. There's a kitchen, a bedroom, and a small living room. From my window, I can see a street full of cafes, shops, and trees. In the morning, I often hear people walking to work and cars passing by. I work as an assistant at a travel agency. I help customers find flights, hotels, and tours for their vacations. I like my job because I learn about many different countries every day. I start work at 8:30 in the morning and finish around 5 in the evening. I usually walk to work because it only takes 15 minutes. The walk is nice. I pass a bakery that always smells like fresh bread. Sometimes I buy a croissant before work. If it rains, I take the bus, but I prefer walking. In the office, I sit at a desk with my computer. I answer phone calls, write emails, and help clients with travel questions. My co-workers are friendly and funny. We often talk during lunch breaks. At lunchtime, I go to a small cafe with 2 colleagues, Emma and Paul. We sit near the window, eat sandwiches, and talk about our weekend plans or favorite movies. Sometimes Paul tells jokes that make everyone laugh. After work, I don't go home right away. I usually go to the gym for about an hour. I do some exercise, treadmill, stretching, and light weights. I listen to music on my phone while I train. When I finish, I feel tired but relaxed. At around 7 p.m., I go home. Before dinner, I take a shower and change into comfortable clothes. Then I cook something simple, pasta, soup, or fried rice. I like cooking because it helps me relax after a long day. While eating, I watch a short TV show in English to practice listening. Sometimes I call my parents who live in another city. We talk about our days and share small stories. I tell them about my work or something funny that happened at the office. They always remind me to eat healthy and sleep early. On weekends, my routine changes. I usually meet my friends in the city center. We go for coffee, take a walk by the river, or watch a movie. If the weather is sunny, we sit in the park for hours and talk. We sometimes play guitar or share snacks. These small things make me feel peaceful. At night, I like to read a book or listen to calm music before bed. Sometimes I write in my journal, just short sentences about what I did and how I felt that day. It helps me clear my mind and improve my English writing. I think my life is simple, but it's full of nice moments. Every day I try to do something small that makes me better. One new word, one short conversation, one smile. Learning English has helped me meet new people and see the world differently. Even if I'm not perfect yet, I know I'm improving, and that makes me proud.
If you understood this story without much effort, congratulations. You are at least A2 level. That means you can understand short, connected sentences about real-life topics like work, routines, and free time. In the next story, we'll move to B1, intermediate level. You'll hear more natural English with complex sentences, new ideas, and reflections. If you can follow that story too, it means your English is becoming fluent. So take a deep breath, and when you're ready, let's go to the next level. B1, intermediate level. Welcome back. Now we move into the B1 level, intermediate English. Here, you'll notice that the sentences are longer, ideas are more detailed, and the story feels more natural, like real English used in daily life. If you can follow this story easily and understand the main ideas, your English is at least B1 or higher. Story B1, intermediate.
My name is Lucas, and I work as a computer repair technician. I fix laptops, install programs, and help people when their computers stop working. I've been doing this job for about 6 years, and even now, I still enjoy it. Every day is different. Some days are easy, just replacing a keyboard or cleaning a screen. Other days are long and complicated, like when a customer's computer completely crashes and I have to save their files. I like this job because it mixes logic and creativity. Every problem feels like a small mystery waiting to be solved. When I finally find the solution, I feel proud. It gives me a sense of accomplishment that keeps me motivated. I start work at 8:30 in the morning. When I arrive, the first thing I do is make a cup of coffee and check the repair list for the day. Sometimes I visit clients at their offices. Other times I work from my own small workshop. There's always music playing quietly in the background. It helps me focus. During the day, I often meet people who are stressed because their computers hold important projects or memories. I try to stay calm and positive. It helps them relax too. I believe that patience is the most important skill. In my job, technology can fail, but people need to feel supported. At lunchtime, I usually eat something simple, maybe rice and chicken or a sandwich from the nearby cafe. I sit by the window and read the news or watch short English videos online to keep practicing my listening skills. I think improving English is similar to repairing computers. It takes time, practice, and curiosity. After work, I don't go home immediately. I like to walk in the park near my office for about 20 minutes. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I just walk in silence. It's my way of clearing my mind before the evening. Then I go home, cook dinner, and watch documentaries in English. I like learning about different cultures, nature, and science. In the evenings, I take an online course about new computer systems. I want to open my own business one day, a small repair shop where I can teach others too. It's a big goal, but I believe that with time and focus, it's possible. Whenever I feel tired, I remind myself why I started. On weekends, I like to relax. Sometimes I meet my friends for a game night or go hiking outside the city. Other times I stay home, cook something new, and read a book. I've realized that peace and balance are more important than being busy all the time working. And technology has also taught me something about people. Every device tells a story: photos of family, emails from work, music playlists full of memories. When people trust me with their computers, they're also trusting me with small pieces of their lives. That's why I take my work seriously. I don't just fix machines. I help people reconnect with what matters to them. Learning English has helped me in this job too. Most of the programs and manuals are in English, and many clients are international. Sometimes I even fix computers for tourists who can't explain the problem in their own language. Being able to communicate clearly makes me proud. It reminds me that every new skill opens another door in life. At the end of each day, I feel satisfied knowing I helped someone, even if it's something small, like saving their photos or repairing their Wi-Fi. It still feels meaningful. I think that's what work should be, not just a paycheck, but something that makes you feel useful.
If you understood this story easily and followed most of the details, congratulations. Your English is around B1 or higher. You can now understand stories that use real-life vocabulary, opinions, and emotions. In the next level, we'll move to B2, upper intermediate. Here, the language will sound more fluent, natural, and emotional, like someone telling you their personal life story with reflection and growth. So take a short break, and when you're ready, we'll continue with the next level. B2, upper intermediate level. Welcome back. You've made it to B2, upper intermediate English. At this level, the language sounds natural, fluent, and expressive. You'll hear complex ideas, comparisons, and personal reflections. If you understand this story easily, your English is already strong and confident. Story B2, upper intermediate.
My name is Isabella, and I'm a graphic designer. For several years, I worked in a large advertising company. The job was stable, the people were kind, and the salary was good. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But deep down, I started to feel bored. Every day felt the same. The same office, the same projects, the same routine. I realized that although my life looked comfortable, something inside me was slowly fading. I wasn't learning anymore. I wasn't growing. And that scared me more than the idea of change. So, one day, I made a decision that changed everything. I quit my job. I remember my last day clearly. My coworkers brought cake, took photos, and wished me luck. I smiled, but inside, I was terrified. For the first time in years, I didn't know what was next. I decided to work as a freelance designer. At first, it was really hard. I had no clients, no plan, and no idea how to start. Every morning, I opened my laptop and tried to find work online. I sent dozens of messages and emails to small businesses, but many didn't reply. Some offered to pay very little, and some didn't respond at all. There were days when I worked 10 hours and earned almost nothing. I cried more than once, but something inside me refused to give up. I told myself that every small step counted. Every email, every sketch, every project. Even when it felt impossible, I kept going. After a few months, things slowly started to change. I created an online portfolio, joined design groups, and shared my work on social media. One day, a local cafe owner saw my post and asked me to design a new logo for her shop. She loved it and recommended me to her friends. That one project opened the door to many others. As time passed, I started to feel more confident. I learned how to talk to clients, manage deadlines, and value my time. I also learned that freelancing isn't just about talent. It's about communication and discipline. You have to be your own boss, teacher, and motivator all at once. Now, my life feels very different. I start my mornings around 8. I make coffee, open my window, and write down my tasks for the day. My living room is also my studio. It's full of light with green plants and art prints on the wall. It feels peaceful, a space that truly belongs to me. When I work, I sometimes lose track of time. Hours pass quickly when I'm creating something I love, but I also make sure to take breaks. I stretch, drink tea, or water my plants. When the weather is nice, I take my laptop to a cafe nearby and work there. The sound of people talking and cups clinking keeps me inspired. The best part of being a freelancer is freedom. I choose which projects I want, when I work, and how I spend my time. If I want to take a few days off, I can. If I feel inspired at night, I can stay up and design until 2 a.m. It's not always easy, but it's honest. It feels like living on my own terms. Of course, there are challenges. Some months are busy, others are quiet. Sometimes clients don't pay on time or ask for endless changes. But I've learned to stay calm and plan ahead. When I earn more, I save for slower months. That balance gives me peace of mind. More than anything, freelancing has taught me about self-trust. When you work alone, no one pushes you forward. You have to find your own motivation every day. There are no teachers, no bosses, no promises, just your effort and belief. That can be scary, but also powerful. I've learned that growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you step into the unknown and decide to stay there until it becomes familiar. And even on hard days, I remind myself, this life, this path, is mine. It may not be perfect, but it feels real. When I finish a project and my client says,
This is exactly what I imagined. I smile and think, yes, this is what freedom feels like.
If you understood this story easily and could feel the meaning behind the words, congratulations, your English is B2 or higher. You now understand natural rhythm, emotion, and reflection, not just grammar or vocabulary. In the next level, we'll move to C1, Advanced English. Here, the language will sound even more fluent and professional. You'll hear abstract ideas, deeper thinking, and more emotional depth. The kind of English used by confident speakers in real life. So take a moment, relax your mind, and when you're ready, let's continue to the next level. C1, Advanced Level. Welcome back. You've now reached C1, Advanced English. At this level, language becomes truly natural and expressive. You'll hear longer sentences, abstract ideas, and deeper reflections about people, work, and life. If you understand this story easily, your English is already advanced. Story C1, Advanced.
My name is Daniel, and I work as a project manager in a technology company. I've been in this field for almost 10 years now, and during this time, I've learned something interesting. Managing people is often more complex than managing projects. Projects have timelines, budgets, and deadlines. They're logical. People, however, have emotions, opinions, and fears. Balancing both is what makes my job challenging and meaningful. My days start early. I like arriving before everyone else when the office is still quiet. First hour is mine. I drink coffee, check my emails, and organize my thoughts. I look at the list of ongoing projects and predict where possible problems might appear. It's my time to think clearly before the day speeds up. When the team arrives, the atmosphere changes. There's movement, laughter, and the sound of keyboards clicking. We hold a short meeting to plan the day. Each person shares their progress and problems. My role is not to control, it's to connect. I make sure everyone has what they need to do their best work. Over the years, I've learned that leadership is not about giving orders. It's about listening, truly listening. When someone feels heard, they usually find their own solution. If they feel ignored, even the simplest task becomes heavy. I used to think being a leader meant having all the answers. Now I know it's about creating an environment where people feel safe to ask questions. Most problems at work come not from lack of skill, but from lack of understanding. Good communication, I've realized, is the strongest foundation of any team. Trust plays a big part, too. When your team trusts you, they'll tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. They'll admit mistakes and share ideas freely. But trust doesn't happen overnight. It's something you build slowly through fairness, honesty, and consistency. I try to be transparent about decisions. When something goes wrong, we talk about it together. I'd rather face an uncomfortable truth than pretend everything is fine. People respect honesty, even when it's not what they want to hear, and when things go well, I always try to celebrate. It could be something small, a thank you message, a quick lunch, or a few kind words in front of the team. These little gestures make a big difference. Of course, not every day runs smoothly. Sometimes clients change their minds at the last minute. Sometimes systems crash or deadlines shift. In those moments, my main job is to stay calm. If I panic, the team will panic too. So I take a breath, focus on what can be controlled, and remind everyone that mistakes are not failures, they're lessons. I remember one project 2 years ago that completely fell apart 2 days before launch. The system we built crashed during testing, and no one could figure out why. We were all exhausted and frustrated. Instead of pushing harder, I asked everyone to take a short break. We ordered food, stepped outside for a while, and talked about anything except work. We came back. One of our developers suddenly saw the issue and fixed it in 10 minutes. That moment taught me something. Sometimes progress happens when you stop forcing it. Over time, I've realized that leadership and life are mirrors of each other. You can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to react with frustration or with curiosity. And that choice determines the culture around you. After long days of meetings and screens, I crave silence. That's why I like simple things, walking, reading, or cooking. For me is meditation. It's one of the few times I can focus on one thing: chopping vegetables, mixing flavors, waiting for something to simmer. It reminds me that not everything needs to move fast to be meaningful. I also love reading biographies and psychology books. They help me understand people and myself better. I recognize my own mistakes in those stories, and that awareness helps me grow. Learning doesn't stop when you leave school. It continues every day through the people you meet and the choices you make. People often ask me how I stay patient in stressful situations. My answer is simple: separation. I've learned to separate what I can control from what I can't. That's the secret to peace, not avoiding problems, but knowing which ones deserve your energy. I've also learned that success isn't just about reaching goals. It's about growing while you reach them. Every challenge teaches something: patience, empathy, communication, self-control. You don't learn leadership from books. You learn it from people, from mistakes, and from moments when everything feels like it's falling apart, and you're the one who has to hold it together at the end of the day. What matters most isn't the projects or profits. It's the people, the ones who trusted you, learned from you, and grew beside you. When I see someone on my team become confident enough to lead others, I feel proud, because that's what real leadership is: helping others find their own strength.
If you understood this story easily, congratulations. Your English is C1 or higher. At this level, you can follow long, complex ideas and emotional expressions with confidence. But there's one more level left, C2, the expert stage. Here, English sounds completely effortless, smooth, elegant, and reflective. It's not just about understanding words anymore, it's about feeling their rhythm and emotion. So take a deep breath and let's continue to the final level. C2, expert level, welcome back and congratulations. You've reached C2, the expert level of English. At this stage, the language sounds effortless, graceful, and deeply emotional. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary anymore. It's about rhythm, subtlety, and meaning. If you understand this story naturally, your English is near native. Story C2, expert.
My name is Elena, and over the years, I've realized something profound. The hardest part of life isn't making decisions. It's understanding what they truly mean. When we're young, we believe that every choice leads us closer to something better. A better job, a better city, a better version of ourselves. We keep moving forward, one door after another, rarely stopping to notice what we've left behind. But eventually we look back and see that every decision carries both gain and loss. Something found, something left behind. For many years, I chased progress without direction. I moved from city to city, job to job, always telling myself I was growing. But deep down, I was running from stillness, afraid that if I stopped, silence might reveal the truth I didn't want to face. It took me years to understand that stillness isn't emptiness. It's space. It's a quiet mirror where truth finally appears when the noise fades. These days, I live differently. My mornings are slow. I make coffee, open my window, and let the sunlight fill the room. That simple act feels sacred. I don't rush to check messages or plans. I just sit there, listening to the hum of the world, to my thoughts, to the quiet voice within that only speaks when I stop trying to control everything. I used to think meaning came from action. Now, I know it grows from reflection. I still work. I'm a consultant, but my relationship with work has changed. What once felt like pressure now feels like practice. Every project is not just a task, but a lesson, a way to understand myself and others more deeply. True progress, I've realized, isn't when systems become faster or people become busier. It's when understanding replaces performance, when connection matters more than control. Outside of work, I write, not for an audience, but for awareness. Writing is a mirror that doesn't flatter. It reflects. Some days, I write about the past, not to live there, but to learn. Other days, I write about the future, not to predict it, but to make peace with uncertainty. Writing, for me, is how I meet myself again and again. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about time, not as something that passes, but as something we move through. Some moments feel wide and endless. Others disappear before we even notice them. I've learned that the quality of time depends less on what we do and more on how awake we are while we do it. A single moment of presence, a deep breath, a quiet thought, a genuine smile can last longer in memory than entire years of rushing. For a long time, I thought growth was about addition, collecting experiences, achievements, recognition. Now, I see it as subtraction, the art of letting go. Letting go of the need to prove, the need to hurry, the need to be perfect. When we stop adding noise, what truly matters begins to speak. We live in a world obsessed with more success, more content, more goals. But wisdom often begins with less. Less distraction, less pressure, less fear. I think freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's realizing you don't have to. It's the quiet balance between wanting and being. Freedom is when you stop measuring your life by how much you hold and start appreciating how much you feel. The older I get, the more I understand that peace isn't a reward waiting at the end of a long road. It walks beside you every day, in the warmth of morning light, in the sound of laughter, in the simple awareness that this moment right now is enough. For years, I was chasing meaning, not realizing that meaning doesn't need to be found. It needs to be felt. It lives in presence. It lives in small, unremarkable moments. A slow meal, a deep conversation, a kind gesture. Those are the fragments that quietly build a beautiful life. I no longer chase perfection. I practice gratitude. I no longer fight silence. I listen to it, because silence, I've learned, has its own kind of language. And in that language, life speaks the truth we've been too busy to hear. So if you ever feel lost, remember this. Sometimes the way forward isn't another step. It's a pause. Sometimes clarity doesn't come from movement, but from stillness. And sometimes the best thing you can do is stop trying to arrive and realize you're already home.
If you understood this story clearly, congratulations. Your English is C2 level, near native. You can follow complex arguments, emotional nuance, and poetic rhythm with ease. But remember, fluency isn't a finish line. Even at C2, there's always more to explore. New words, new voices, new ways to express who you are. So keep listening, keep learning, and most of all, keep feeling the beauty of this language, because true mastery isn't about perfection, it's about presence.